Is there another piece that you'd like to read, or shall we wrap
Yes,
up?
yes. I want you to read. Darcy, I want you to pick one that has one of your animal stories, like, hint, hint.
Yes. Well, yeah, we can go to our I think it was this was our second, well, chapter 12 is the seeing and being seen. And we had a beautiful poem called Sanctuary by Ada Limón. And it was uh, the language in the poem really took us all sorts of places. But it really was the first stanza when she said, "Suppose it's easy to slip into another's green skin, bury yourself in leaves." Just the imagery there. We just couldn't help playing with that. And so for our at-home prompt, not surprisingly, we came up with the question, if you could slip into the skin of an other, who would it be? What would it be like?
Shall I read mine first, or do you want to read it?
Please.
Okay, so yeah, I don't want to give anything away. I'll just read what I wrote. If you could slip into the skin of an other, who would it be? What would it be like? You died way too soon, far too young at 51, and so I never got to ask you what it was like being you, what it felt like as your fingers flew over the keys hour upon hour, practicing and perfecting the beauty of a Bach fugue, a Beethoven sonata, or the endless journey exercises to keep your fingers supple. What was it like to love my father so completely that you were willing to give up your whole life over to being with him almost all day, every day? From the outside, it looked so idyllic, always hugging in the kitchen, cooking, practicing the piano right across the hallway from where he was painting, all day, every day. You even told me once that you wished you lived in Israel in a kibbutz so my sister and I could be taken care of and give you more freedom. I was shocked. Still, I felt your love. I felt your loneliness. I feel you now, the making do with never enough money, yet the laughter and good food, your favorites, shepherd pie, chicken cacciatore, always stretching the few dollars to make them last. You had to feel ashamed and angry at yourself that you told me not to bring a friend home for dinner one time, as we couldn't afford it. You hid the angst, but you didn't. You felt sick all the time. You said you had not been pain-free since you were 16. What was life supposed to give? Did you know how loving and loved you were? You fainted often. Your heart held the stress. You were a loved but caged bird, needing to fly even as you made a home of your cage. I did try on, slip into your skin. I ate you whole. I felt your self-judgment, your competence, your giving in to customs even as you dared to be yourself. I felt your body weaken, sicken, and die too soon. I broke free to be my own body, follow my own lights, be not who you were, infirm, weak, giving without claiming your own needs for friends, to stretch for more. You wanted me to have that yellow dress, and you bought it for me even though you couldn't afford it. How did you do that? The why is easy. You saw my need, and everything in you wanted to give it to me. You wanted to be there for me in a way no one was there for you. You wanted me to be there for you in a way I was too young for, too much a child, your child, to be a witness to your spoken griefs. You felt trapped. I couldn't be the friend you needed. I was only 13. I couldn't help. Your fingers opened your heart to the greater vistas of all that music. Music saved you. You taught children and adults to play the piano with feeling. Everyone fell in love with you. You were beautiful and giving and fiercely committed to excellence. You didn't hold back when it came to playing the piano. You were a truth teller in service of what the music called for. You were patient with your laggards, me among them. What dreams did you have that slowly faded? To be a concert pianist? To have luxury and comfort? You fell in love. I'm making this up, but know the outline. An affair, a wealthy man who gave you expensive gifts and came once to our house, to the door only. You couldn't do it. You said to my sister it was for us. You couldn't leave us. Life isn't straightforward. More than one thing can be true at the same time. You don't know, you didn't know how long you had. You filled the world with your being for every one of your moments. You didn't hide even if you thought you did. And you were so smart, emotionally and intellectually smart, even if you thought you weren't. I never wanted to be you, but I wanted to know you. I still do.
Thank you, Penny. Mm. So this was a time when I took a very different approach to the question than Penny did. So if you could slip into the skin of an other, who would it be? What would it be like? I've mulled it over long enough, so I'll just say it. I would like to step into the skin of a goat. One might be perplexed by my choice. Granted, there are a lot of other animals I could have chosen that are more beautiful, dramatic, or symbolic. Why not a tiger, elephant, or an owl? A fair question. There is something about goats that draws me in. It's not their modest size or that you can get your arms around them, handy for veterinary work. They are not overly attractive, although baby goats or kids are devastatingly cute. The most familiar goats are domesticated species that have been of great use to mankind over hundreds of years, supplying meat, milk, and fiber. I respect what they have given to human societies, but that's not the nature of my interest. It's in their eyes. Admittedly, their eyes can be off-putting with their horizontal pupils, but that strangeness passes as you look more inquisitively. If you take a moment and concentrate, then you see something else, and it's looking right back at you with the same curious gaze. There is intelligence and a personality there. So throw me into a goat's body just to see how it fits and feels. Oh, and please make it a Nubian goat, who characteristically have big, floppy ears. I have had the lifelong pleasure of big, saucer-like ears stuck solidly in place. I'd like to try some big, floppy ones for a change, so that I can flick them around in dramatic fashion. What I'm particularly curious about is the inner lives of goats. What constitutes a good day for them, other than eating, for which they have a prodigious and willing capacity to eat almost anything? What are they thinking about? Are they consumed with soulful musings about who they are and why they exist? What do they think about us or other species? I suspect that goats have strong opinions about most things, and that pragmatism and not suffering fools gladly heavily influence the positions they take. Buttressing this is a wisdom and clear-eyed understanding of the reality of the world. After getting to know my herd mates, I would tenderly and with compassion ask what they hope and wish for. This is an uncomfortable question for a foal goat to be asking. As interesting and important as goats are, they are not an apex species. They are flight animals. Like other herbivores, they run away from threats to live and eat another day. Obstreperous billy goats notwithstanding. Tomorrow they could end up on someone's plate, be chased by dogs, or graze peacefully in a pasture. How do they hold this vulnerability, this fear, this pervasive uncertainty? How would they judge their keepers? I'm not sure I would like what they have to say about the latter. I will, of course, never know the answers to these questions. All I really know is that there is someone behind those eyes looking back at me, maybe wondering what my hopes, dreams, and intentions are. Perhaps goats, in their way, are asking more of me, inviting me to thoughtfully consider where I sit in the kingdom of animals and what my duties and responsibilities should be to my kin. Maybe they are hoping that I'll see myself as part of everything that moves and breathes, not separate from, not an individual, not above or below, no dominion over, just one of them and one of us, all trying to get by and do our best, one day at a time.
Thank you, Darcy. I love that story.
That's really definitely one of the more memorable juxtapositions too of the
Yeah, I
fun
love
and
that.
the lightheartedness. It's just such a great example of how the prompts can bring up who knows what.
Mm.
Yeah.